This is Algebra 2. Quick review of quick graphs of linear equations, both the slope-intercept and the standard form, beginning on page 82. First one is the definition of a y-intercept. Y-intercept in a graph intersects on the y-axis. In slope-intercept form, it's your b value. But when you're looking at your graph, if you're picturing what is the y-intercept, this graph looks like this. This, since it's the y-axis, this represents the y-intercept. And again, in y equals mx plus b, the b value, this one, is your y-intercept. If it's positive, it'll be, if it says plus something, it'll be positive. If it says minus something, it'll be negative. Slope-intercept form is what I just wrote. Y equals mx plus b. M is your slope. It tells you rise over run, or it tells you where to move. It's your directions. B is your y-intercept. It tells you where to begin. M tells you where to move. B tells you where to begin. Standard form, AX, something times X plus BY equals C, where A and C are not both 0. One could be 0, but the other can't. What this means is Y equals 6 is standard form. And the reason it's standard form is because you can have an understood 1 right there as the coefficient. So that's like BY. And you could have 0x plus by. That doesn't have to be shown. So like I said, this, even though it looks funny, it doesn't look like standard form, that is standard form, y equals 6. Both of them can't be 0. One of them can, though. The x-intercept, again, just like the y-intercept, the x-intercept is on your x-axis. It's, if this graph's going here, this is your x-intercept where it crosses through. That's going to come into play when you're using standard form. Graphing equations in slope-intercept form. This is the fastest way most of us learned in Algebra 1 how to graph equations. Step number 1 is to write the equation in slope-intercept form. So get y by itself. What that means is isolate y, make it say y equals. Then get it in the right order, mx plus b. If you write it as b plus mx, it's okay. You're just going to have to make sure you represent or you recognize which one's the m and which one's the b. Step number 2 is find the y-intercept and use it to plot the point where the line crosses the y-axis. So when you have mx, y equals 1/2 x plus 3, for example, mx plus b, the b value, this one would be 3. So on your graph, at 1, 2, 3 on your y-axis is where you're going to begin. That's what step number 2 is telling you to do. Step number 3 is telling you to find the slope. So according to this one right here, this is my slope, 1/2. The top number tells you to either rise or run. I have 1 as my top number. It's positive, so that means from the point that I put on the y-axis, I'm going to go up 1 more. The bottom number 2 tells me to run either left or right. It's positive. Again, my positive numbers are this way, 1, 2. So I go up 1 and to the right 2. There's my second point, and then the last step is to draw a line through the 2 points, which is to do this. Okay. So here's example number 1. Graph in which slope-intercept form. Y plus 1 equals 2/3 x. It doesn't say y equals mx plus b. We got to get y by itself. So the first step is to write the equation in slope-intercept form. The only thing on the left side of the equal sign that's not y is 1. So we got to use our inverse operations to move it over. It's positive 1 or plus 1. Undo that by minus 1 or subtracting it. When you subtract 1 on both sides, you're left with y equals 2/3 x minus 1. So now you got mx plus b. This next step tells you to find this is your b value. Don't forget the fact that it's negative since it says minus 1. So on your y-axis, you put your first point at -1 right there. The next step is to look at your slope. To look at your slope 2/3, this one right here. You need to rewrite it 2/3 so you can see it. That's fine. It tells you, that's where it tells you where to move. Go up 2 and go to the right 3. So from this point, we're going to go up 2, 1, 2, and to the right 3, 1, 2, 3. There is our second point. That's where it comes from. Then the last step, once you have 2 points, draw your line through your 2 points, and your graph should look like what we have up there already. Again, y equals mx plus b. All of y'all are accustomed to doing this with no problem. Okay, find a little space. I know there's not a lot of backspace, so just in the margin or in the middle where they got some area, graph that one right there. 1/2 x plus 1. Very, very simple graph. Take about 20 seconds. Okay, this one's already in slope-intercept form for you. Y equals mx plus b. B tells you where to begin. So begin on your y-axis at 1. There's your first point right there. Your m is what multiplies by x. Sometimes I hear students tell me your m is 1/2 x. No, it's just 1/2. So 1 over 2 tells you to go up 1. So from that point we already had, we're going to go up 1 and to the right 2 since it's positive. So to the right 1, 2, up 1 to the right 2. Point number 2, when you got 2 points, you can draw your graph. That's what I mean by it being simple. Everybody in here has the capability of doing that by this point. Example number 2 is using this in real life situation. It says you have a monthly car payment on a new car, or your car payments are made according to the equation P is equal to 15,000 minus 250T, where P is the amount you owe and T is the number of months. So in this case, T is your independent variable and P is your dependent variable. So now it doesn't say Y and X, but P is Y and T is X. So as you look at this equation, notice the first thing that's done is it's rewritten as MX plus B, or MT in this case plus B. So the questions ask you, what is the original amount you owe? How much did your car originally cost? 15,000. 15,000 is how much the car costed. Okay, what is the monthly payment? How much is it going down by? Think about money you owe. It's going down, so it's going down by 250. Okay, so that's what your equation should look like. So the original amount you owe is 15,000. The second question says, what is your monthly payment? It's going down 250. Your slope is 250. So your monthly payment is 250 bucks. And then graph it. Well, MX plus B, B's value is at 15,000. So go ahead and put your point at 15,000. Now you got to do a little estimating because this graph doesn't match perfectly like small numbers. You're going to go down 250 for every 1 month you go over. So what we could do is we can multiply 250 and say in 10 months, it's going to be 2,250. So just move it over, just put a zero behind it. Or 2,500, I'm sorry. It's going to be 2,500 when you multiply it by 10. Okay. So in 10 months, this next one you go down 2,500 and you can put your point there. Notice that the line stops when you graph, and this is going to be hard to make this estimation because you're going to be doing a little, your points won't be perfect on this, but it stops at 60 months. So your car will be paid for in 60 months or in 5 years. This is a very relevant question for a lot of you guys because you guys are getting to the age where you're going to start actually having to deal with this. If you're not dealing with it already, it's coming up. Specifically buying a car. That's coming up. Okay, graphing equations in standard form. Step number 1 is to write the equation in standard form. AX plus BY is equal to 0. AX plus BY is equal to C. It's just another value. Find the x-intercept. So you're going to find the x-intercept by plugging in 0 for the opposite one. So notice y's value is going to be 0 because we're looking for the x-intercept. Step number 2 is to find the y-intercept by plugging in 0 For x, you always plug it in for the opposite one. This is a very easy way to do this a lot of times until fractions hit you, and then you got to do one more step sometimes. So once you find the x-intercept, then you find the y-intercept. You're going to have something that looks like this on a graph. You'll find the x-intercept, and let's say it's like right here. And then you'll find the y-intercept, and let's say it's like right here. Then once you have 2 points, you just draw a line through them, just like mx plus b. And most of the time, the arithmetic is easier. And then draw yourself lines through that. That's not what I wanted to look at. Example number 3, drawing quick graph, says graph 2y minus 3x is equal to 6. So this is in slope, and this is in standard form almost. It doesn't say ax plus by. You see how it says it's already written in standard form? That's not quite accurate, but this will work. We don't have to really move anything. Okay? So if we want to find our x-intercept first, we're going to plug in 0 for the opposite one, y. Notice 2 times 0 eliminated that part, just like we did for the bell work. So you have negative 3x is equal to 6. Divide by negative 3 on both sides, and your x-intercept is negative 2. So on your x-axis, negative 2 is the point right there. Do the same thing for your y, but for y, plug in 0 right here. Again, it's going to eliminate that part of the problem. I'm sorry, it'll eliminate the part the other part. Plug in 0 here, and it'll eliminate that part. So 2y is equal to 6 when you divide by 2 on both sides. Y's value is 3. So on your y-axis, at 3, once you have 2 points, you can draw your line through them. Very, very simple. Method number 2 is using slope-intercept form. 2y minus 3x equals 6. Move it to slope-intercept form. So move the 3x over to negative 3x over. It's negative on the left, so add 3x to both sides. You get positive 3x on the right. Then divide everything by 2 to get y by itself. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. Notice it's in slope-intercept form here, though. And 3x divided by 2 is 3 over 2x. So you have mx plus b now. Begin, just like we did a minute ago, at 3. So here is your first point. Slope tells you to go up 3 and to the right 2. Up 1, 2, 3. And to the right once, twice. Second point. Draw your line through the 2 points. That's the other method. Let's take a look quickly before we go at horizontal and vertical lines. Skip this one. Horizontal and vertical lines. Okay, they're written with one of the values being 0. Okay, a horizontal line, so it's x comma y. Remember that. So a horizontal line where y is equal to c, its x value is going to be 0. So 0 something else. So your horizontal line, remember, act like the horizon, they go this way. So where it says x is 3, for example, at 3, or y, x is 0, it'd be y's value is that. The vertical line, where x is c, it's going to go up and down. The vertical lines do this. They go up and down. Its y value, or its x value in this case, I keep getting them backwards. Its y value 0, and its x value has a value. And we'll have to cover the rest tomorrow.